What is up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us. Justin Parnell, joined with my partner in crime, David McDarby.
Hey, Justin, how's it going?
It is going great. You know why?
I have an idea why, but please fill me in.
That's because we're at CubeCon. Today is day one of the greatest 4 days in cubing.
That's undisputed. That is the truth.
That is. We have over 50 cubes here. We have 50 cubes for just our main event feature for the weekend, but we have probably another 50 here in the room of people cubing today.
At least there's cubing happening all right, and behind you all right here. It's just a celebration of Cube, and I'm so happy to be here with all these people and you.
It's, you know, other people I'm very appreciative of what we have here is NRG, who is helping us produce this stream, obviously using their channel, and please support them because we would not be here being able to provide you this excellent coverage for the best format in all of Magic without their partnership. And I'm just so thrilled that we get to do this. Is our second year for CubeCon, and we have a robust amount of cubes that we're going to be covering on the weekend.
Yes, this is year two. Last year was wonderful, amazing. We are about doubled in size of both cubes and attendees, and excitement, fun, and awesome cube action. And it's so awesome to celebrate Cube here with all these people.
Absolutely. And so what we're going to do is today is kind of our day one, and we're going to be covering a lot of just fun stuff. We have a ton of special guests, content creators, professional Magic players, some Hall of Famers that are going to be here, I know. And then we're going to be covering today with two of our exhibition events. And going into Friday and Saturday is when our main event will start. So each day we're going to be covering 3 unique cubes with a different commentary team on each. And we have 6 great commentators. David and myself are just 2. And you'll see us again, but there's going to be a cornucopia of people.
Yeah, lots of great other people will bring the cube action to you. So Friday and Saturday, 3 cubes each with teams leading into a top 64 cut and a top 8 cut where we'll be playing the vintage cube for top 8.
That's right.
With all the power you can shake some number 9 at.
Yeah, so the most drafted cube in the entire world, the Magic Online Vintage Cube, will be the one that decides our winner. And you know what? Our previous winner right here, I can actually see him, Caleb Durward, is going to try to defend his crown. And let me tell you, he knows that it's going to be a lot tougher this year.
Yes, so Caleb D. MTG is the reigning champion of CubeCon.
He is.
But that's for 2022. We're in 2023, and the heat has been turned up. There are more people here looking for that crown, for that cube crown. Now, again, this is CubeCon. We're not here as a tournament style of like high stakes, cutthroat, let's play to win. We're here to celebrate Cube and have a good time.
That's right. And you know, that's the great thing about CubeCon is the event that we have here is celebrating every single kind of cube you can do. The most casual cube and the most casual of prizes, which we'll get to in just a moment.
We will.
And the most competitive because obviously there are people like Caleb that want to show that they are the best in the world at this Magic format, that we all love so much.
Yes, we are here in Madison, Wisconsin, GameholeCon.
GameholeCon.
And we'll be bringing you so much awesome cube action. I love playing Cube, by the way. Players can make their own environment and make the kind of Magic they want to play and share it with their friends and make lifelong friends through Cube. You, in fact, introduced Cube to me.
I did.
I learned it from you, from the best.
10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah, I'll say 11 or 12, right when I started. And to see Cube grow and blossom from what it was back then to bringing 400 and some people to this event is just amazing.
Incredible.
I love it.
And the energy here, and I've been to a lot of Magic events, as I'm sure a lot of viewers have, and I truly do not know another event where people are so excited to be here and to just play in Cube. And the thing that we're doing today, though, right now, is we're going to be cubing, surprise. But we're going to be doing a special cube, and it's a cube that you created. The Live the Dream cube that has been on Magic Online several times.
Yes.
So this is a familiar one to our drafters, but I'm fortunate that I get the designer of the cube in the booth with me.
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate you let me in the booth.
Yeah. You're the expert here, buddy.
Yeah, so the Live the Dream Cube will be starting off in this tournament. This tournament is dubbed the Cheese Stands Alone Tournament.
Yes.
So we'll get to what they're playing for in a moment, but let's give you a rundown on what the Live the Dream Cube is all about.
Please.
So it is a 540 card cube, singleton, legacy vintage legal, all black bordered cards, no acorns here. So about run-of-the-mill cube things. Like, there aren't any special rules. A lot of cubes have that. Those awesome ways to experience cube. This doesn't have that. What this does have is designed to emulate a sort of commander-like experience. So you're playing lots of colors, lots of mana ramp, getting lots of mana on the board, and then you cast crazy spells. You cast Fiery Emancipation, Aminatu's Augury, all kinds of crazy big Mnemonic Deluge. These are some cards that you may not see in like the Vintage Cube or a lot of other cubes because they cost, 8, 9 mana.
Crazy.
But here in the Live the Dream Cube, it's not just a dream, it's a reality.
That's right. You have to live the dream. The way to win the cube is to live that dream. And we have 8 players that are ready to do battle in the Live the Dream Cube, but they're not playing for something that is traditional.
No, not really.
I would say this is the most unique prize that we have ever seen in all of Magic.
It's definitely the prize that I would like to win the most.
And the prize, the reason this is the cheese stands alone is because we're in the cheese capital of the world in Wisconsin.
That's correct.
So we felt that the most appropriate thing to do is to provide a crazy amount of cheese to the winner. That's right. The winner of this draft will get a nice laser-cut charcuterie board with an unhealthy amount of cheese that we have told them under no circumstance they could not eat alone in one sitting.
That's correct. It will not be great. Yeah. So once we get to the game, we'll be showing some of the cheese, some of the mounds of cheese. There are multiple mounds of cheese available. We will show about 1.5 mounds.
Right.
Yeah, and then bring that to you and show what the players are playing for us. So you can live your dream at home, seeing what you would do if you were following along the draft at home, which we're about to do.
And we do. And we have 8 players in this draft, including strategists who you might know from playing Magic Online, a common trophy leader.
Yes.
We have Jarvis Yu, we have Drake Sasser, we have Sky Warfield, we have Jamie Topples, we have Reed Duke, we have Bob Marr, and we have Zach Hill, who is going to be our featured drafter for this first draft of CubeCon. And I think we are ready to get started in that draft and see what Zach is going to cook up in this Live the Dream Cube. All right, looks like our drafters are ready. Yep. Zach, who has, I would say, drafted this cube maybe the most of everyone who is in this.
Yep.
In this pod.
I believe that's true. We drafted it a month ago at MagicCon Las Vegas. Yes. We did play. I will not say who won between him and I when we played, but let's check out the pack here. So we have 45 cards to draft, 15 cards in a pack, and we've got Divine Intervention. Yeah.
Oh, man. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see if we can get the camera readjusted so we can see what Zach is working with in this pack, and we'll let Zach know.
Or maybe Zach can just bring his cards down a bit
to slow it down. We'll get it worked out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But we've got Atali, the new Atali, a Karoo Ashen Rider. It looks like
that's a General Ferris Rockrick.
The General Maelstrom Pulse. Invasion of Alara. Now that's a very iconic card for this cube. And Golos. Tireless Pilgrim.
Saw that at the end there.
Yes.
Golos is, in my opinion, one of my favorite cards to draft in the entire cube. You know why? Because it's good every single time.
Every single time.
Every single deck. But Zach, looking to aim low on a mana value 1 card with a Delighted Halfling?
Yes. So this cube really rewards players for advancing their mana and getting lots more mana on the board. Signets are good. 1 mana green creatures are amazing, and especially if the spells can't be countered. There aren't a lot of counter spells, but... So now Zach's looking for a green deck. Now you're starting off with a Delighted Halfling, so you can really be as many colors as you'd like. He's eyeing this Jin Cataxius from Mom. Jin Cataxius.
March of the Machines.
March of the Machines.
Jin Cataxius, no last name.
No last name. He's like Cher, or Strategist.
Right.
1 name only. So we have Skitter Beam Battalion. Again, this cube likes expensive spells, but if you can cast them less, it's even better.
Now, one you might have missed was an Asika's Chariot, which, let me tell you, that's a powerful card. But now, Zach is pulling my personal favorite card in this pack to the front, which is a Theomancer. Now, I don't think that's probably what Zach's going to take. I would be surprised if he doesn't pull this Asika's Chariot in the front. There we go.
Asika's Chariot is good. Elvish Mystic is just doubling down on his 1 mana creature to advance your mana state. All the colors do really cool, awesome things in this cube. Green has the power of 1 mana creatures.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
Yeah. The most powerful word in this cube is add, and Zach is adding that card to his deck, which adds mana.
Wow, and he's done that twice now.
He has done it twice.
Zach, I think it's fair to say, might have the lowest mana value average of all of the cubers that have drafted so far.
I would say that's accurate. It's really hard to get less than that unless you take 2 lands, which is also a defensible strategy.
Yes.
Yep, so Zach is playing Moloch to the top. It is a red-green X creature that fights a creature and gets bigger with X. Pretty good card from the Warhammer 40K set.
Absolutely love it. One of my favorite cube cards in the number of great cube cards in that set.
Yep.
Now, Zach has not dipped his toes into a second color. And traditionally in this cube, in my experience, you often end up in 3-color decks as on average. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, a common thing to do for picks 1 and 2 is a Triome or another 3-color land for turn 1, and then a Signet or a 2-mana ramp artifact on turn 2. Zach is taking 2 one-drop creatures.
Zach's eyebrows raised when he read that last one. All right, he's taking Mawloc, which that's the pick for me to have those 2 land warriors.
Yep,
too.
so it's a red-green threat that's scalable depending on when you want to cast on the curve, and it's removal.
And it draws you a card if you go big enough.
And it exiles the creature that it fights.
Wow.
Yeah, it really does everything. Sometimes you can cast it for 2 mana on turn 2, fight a 1-powered creature, and you're living your dream right there. So we have Biophagus, another green mana creature from 40K.
That's a good combination with Mawloc because it adds a counter when you cast a creature with its mana.
It does, yes. We have Luca Bound to Ruin, sort of a red-green Garruk Wildspeaker that can sometimes also act as removal. So it looks like Zach is looking at red-green cards in this cube. Red-green is large creatures, but also some ways to cheat them into play to get them out early, either through a way you just cast them for free or just cast them above the curve. And here he's looking for Biophagus versus Stomping Ground.
Yeah, I'm going with the Biophagus. I'm sticking with the green, and this is a pretty powerful. This is a pretty powerful creature to go along with his other mana creatures, and this is a good combo with Mawloc too.
Yeah, so Biophagus is a 1/3 for 2, as you can see there on the screen. But when you cast a creature with that mana, it gets a little bigger. So maybe you have a creature that cares about its power. It's going to come and play with additional power, and there are about 5 or 6 cards to live that dream of making it more than its base power.
Love it. Okay. Now, we don't have a clear green pick in this pack, so this is going to be something where we're going to see a deviation from all of the green cards that have been drafted, pretty much no matter what.
Yep. So a lot of times, a traditional cube philosophy is you choose 2 colors, go down that path, maybe you splash a third. In the Live the Dream cube, we kind of throw that out the window. We defenestrate it, and maybe he'll go black with defenestrate, not in this cube, but he can go additional colors than just green and red and be completely fine and rewarded. For example, here's Rakdos Carnarium. If he wants to be Jund, I'm sure Reed Duke drafted on the opposite side of the table. That is a very common thing for opposite people on the table to be drafted in the same color combination.
Right. And one of the cards that's in the pack that is often a thorn in my side is Elish Norn, the Mommy of Machines.
Yes, the mother. She's a Panharmonicon, some call her lovingly. But she also stops your opponents from their panharmoniconing.
Yeah, I use a different name, but I can't say it right now.
Well, that's because you're talking about Magic right now with thousands of people watching. But Elish Norn is a single white pip, and it's a very powerful card.
It is very powerful. I think when we were drafting with this, and we go with the Carnarium, which is exactly as you said, saying green, 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 2 colors that are not green.
Yeah, sure. Well,
pretty standard.
Also, Karuz, or bounce lands, whatever you would like to call them. Imagine a land that entered the battlefield tapped and then said, "Draw next turn, draw a basic land." They're amazing.
And it's great because there's not too much land destruction in this cube, so they're much safer than they might normally be in cubes you would find.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about, is Wasteland or Strip Mine coming for my double land? No, that's not really dream living. That's kind of nightmare living, and that's not what we do here.
Maybe we have different dreams.
Perhaps. Well, Zach dreams of Remove What It's looking like, and he's pulling Dismember to the top. He has a 1-mana spell and an 8-mana spell he's deciding between.
Standard. This is a pretty common just choice in the Live the Dream cube.
It is. It is way easier to get out a creature, especially an artifact creature, quicker than others, but Dismember is a 1-mana removal spell, and that's really hard to come by in this environment.
Yeah, it's definitely a premium removal spell, as it scales incredibly well because oftentimes, and now we're not seeing this based on Zach's deck, but oftentimes a curve will start at 2 rather than 1, which is pretty unique to this cube among most cubes here at CubeCon.
Yep, Zach does go with the Dismember. In this cube, attacking is second focus behind doing big splashy things, so the loss of life is a minimal drawback for cards like Dismember, when the opponent isn't quite coming out of the gate quite as fast.
Now we have that Fire Emancipation, something you called out earlier, and that is a certified game ender. I don't know if Zach is ready for a red pipped card yet.
But he might be. So Fire Emancipation is one of my favorite cards ever made. All your threats, everything you do is triple damage. That's if you ever played a Street Fighter and you're fighting and you get down to low health and the music speeds up to 2 times as fast. That's what Fire Emancipation does when it hits the battlefield.
Now what about Shark Typhoon? Shark Typhoon would be the 4th color that Zach would draft, which again, not all that uncommon. I find in this cube, I am often in 3 colors and then drafting a 4th.
Yes, you're not all that punished for drafting 4 colors, but Zach takes Calidus Assassin. So that is a 6-mana blue and black card that's basically a clone, but also destroys the creature it's cloning.
Right, and that's Zach's 3rd Warhammer 40K card he has drafted, which I got to say, one of the best designed sets for Cube in a long time, especially considering the amount of cards that are in that set contextually compared to a regular set.
Yeah, so with the 40K expansion, we had a lot of free reign from Games Workshop to just make cool cards that were flavorful. And we didn't have to really care about the biodome specifically. We can work outside of that, so there's a lot of open-ended cards that they can work with all kinds of cubes, and Cube was a big focus, let's just say, when working on that set.
Yeah, I knew I had you on the inside, make sure we were taken care of.
Yeah, don't worry, I got you, fam.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
So Zach has dipped in to technically, no, we haven't seen a red card yet.
We have Moloch.
We have seen a red card. So we have seen 4 colors, a solid four different colors of cards. Which,
Yes.
Again, nothing too crazy, honestly. Zach's only picked up 1 land. There will be more coming inevitably. But what are we looking at for here? What would you want to find if you were Zach? Are you going to be looking for some triomes?
Triomes are great. He's got 2 green, 1 mana value creatures. Some more of those are great. Birds of Paradise. You're familiar with that card?
I am.
I believe it's from limited edition Alpha in 1993.
That's correct.
Yes. It's a single green, and it adds 1 of any color. That's the kind of card I'm looking for, number 1 here.
It's older than several people at CubeCon.
I would say, yeah, yes. And more and more people fall under that distinction every year.
One of my favorite cards in the entire cube is in this pack, which is Kaya. But we are going to see. You're going to have to help me out on that one.
Master of the Wild Hunt.
That was Master of the Wild Hunt?
It was. It was a secret lair release.
See, now okay.
Yep. So Master of the Wild Hunt, one of the early on mythic rares that was very popular. This is not only creates threats, but also removal.
This was a cube staple for many years after its release in Magic 2010.
That's correct. So in this cube, most of the cards have dreams to live. So you do a cool thing. A lot of them you kind of see on the tin what the dream is. A lot of removal spells don't have dreams to live. You cast Lightning Bolt, that creature is dead. Terror, that creature is dead. So a lot of the removal spells come with threats. So they're a planeswalker, or they do other things as well as just destroy a creature. So like Master of the Wild Hunt makes wolves. It works with Doubling Season, Anointed Procession, cards like that. But also can be your interaction and removal, and that's a dream to live.
Yeah, so your dream would be attack your opponent's creatures with a large pack of wolves.
Yes.
Okay.
Abu. So
as it were.
So Zach has his original pack back. So this is pick number 9. Eyeing that Evasion of Alara, probably one of the most representative cards of the cube. In fact, the Cube Cobra image, fine sponsor here at CubeCon, Cube Cobra, Gwyndecker here, the designer of it. The image is the backside of Invasion of Alara. That's how iconic it is for this cube.
I love it. It's and you know what? That one is the one I opened in my pre-release.
Aminatu's Augury.
Not the Aminatu's Augury, the
Okay.
Invasion of Alara.
Well, and how did you do with that pre-release?
So we're talking about Cube here.
Cube!
And we really want to. So Zach has pulled a blue 8-drop to the front, which I believe he's probably just simply reading the text of this card, as this is not one. This may be the only cube in this event that has Aminatu's Augury in it. I personally love Invasion of Alara, but we've talked about that card, and that's one of the cards that makes me want to go into 5 colors. It scales incredibly well. It goes big. It goes small.
Yep. You're a big fan of Awakening the Maelstrom.
I love it.
Yeah, love it.
The way the Maelstrom's so sleepy, and you just got to shake it to wake it up.
Wake up. Why do you leave this charge up on the table?
Now, I would not be surprised. We again see the most expensive and the least expensive cards, the 2 choice. I would be surprised if Zach didn't pick the Goblin Crater Maker because he loves the low mana value, and that's something that is a very high value to him. But here we are. Well, that's why he's down there and I'm up here.
You got to dream a little bigger, darling.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So Zach,
I wasn't big enough.
So Zach took Aminatu's Augury. It is an 8-mana sorcery where you cast every type of card in the game for free. So now that he has that, he's kind of looking to diversify his threats. He wants some enchantments, some artifacts, some planeswalkers.
He wants a Skitterbeam.
In fact, he took Skitterbeam Battalion, which is not only a creature but also an artifact, so he can hit off of that Aminatu's Augury.
And not only an artifact, it's 3 artifacts.
It's 3 artifacts. So Skitterbeam Battalion is another good representative card of the cube. It's 9 mana on the tin, but you can cast it for 5 if that's what you want to do.
If you don't want to live the dream, you want to just you know, kind of just hang around. But the dream is casting this for 9, let's be honest.
So you don't necessarily want to hard cast it. Maybe you can with Mirari's Awake, but you want to look for cards that cast cards without paying their mana cost, which we have basically everyone in the game that you can shake a cube at in this cube.
Right, because Skitterbeam Talzine doesn't say if you cast it from your hand, just if you cast it.
That's correct.
Oh, we have a very late Shipwreck Marsh. I've got it.
Yep.
Shipwreck Marsh, which
you had it.
I love the cycle of land. That cycle of lands, especially in this cube, because the cost of them coming into play tapped in the first 2 turns is almost non-existent.
It doesn't really matter. You're actually not casting a lot on turn 1 in this cube, which is like kind of whoa. That's like antithetical to a lot of cube traditional heuristics. You want to be on the board on turn 1, but in this cube you don't really do that a lot outside of Zach's deck with the green 1 mana creature. So. And when you're entering the battlefield tapped on turn 1, that's no biggie. You really want it to be untapped on turns 3 and up, which is exactly what they do.
And we have another,
in fact,
8 mana blue card, but you know what? It does cast things without paying their mana cost.
Yeah, so does Ignite, the other card behind it. There are multiple cards in this pack that cast cards without paying their mana cost. And that one with the Multiverse is a great card to pair with Omniach's Augury. Here we have Ignite the Future, which also can cast cards without paying the mana cost. So Zach is now deciding, does he want the 4 mana reasonable version with Flashback, or does he want the 8 mana mythic that once you have it in play, it's future sight, but you know, this ain't your grandmother's future sight.
This 2022 future sight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are, let's see. So we have, oh my gosh, this is a 7 pips Genesis Ultimatum. Another card casting things without paying their mana cost.
Right, you are, Justin. This one is fully in Teamer, so he will have to be looking for additional lands and mana fixing to find those cards, but he's going with Extract Brain.
Yep.
This is a blue-black X sorcery that when you cast it, you get to look at the X cards in their hand and then cast one of those for free.
For free.
So it is a cast for free spell, but your opponent's dreams.
Should have let them draft the Skitterbeam Battalion, then you take it from them.
Yep, there it is. So you don't see this card a lot in cubes, but in this environment, it's at its strongest. And most fun, I'd say.
And it looks like the second to last pick was that Ignite. So Zach is ramping up both proverbially and literally in the mana value of the spells he's drafting. And we'll see if he wants to maybe adjust his plan from getting a low to the ground deck into something more representative of this cube.
Yep. So a lot of the cubes here, you know, they make you look at Magic the Gathering in their own different ways. So like you have to look at the context of cards differently. So in the Live the Dream cube, you know, you'll see these 8, 9 mana spells. You're never going to get that long in the game. That's too much mana.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Who could ever do that? Well, in this environment, Zach has played it before, but getting his mana dorks online, his mana creatures online, and then seeing, oh yeah, this is the Live the Dream cube. You cast big spells all the time without paying their mana cost. I'm in. And it's kind of moving into that direction, the cube, which I love to see.
And the last bit of the pack, we have Inscription of Insight versus Part the What. I'll take the Inscription, something that you can cast for 4. You know what? We have a Fiery Emancipation, a card I love, and I would say we're not at a 0 for Zach to play that, even though it was a 15th pick.
Certainly not.
A lot of cube left to be had here.
You know what's a great spell to cast for free?
Every card he's drafted, but specifically.
Yeah, but I'm looking for Fiery Emancipation.
Yeah. That's a certified game ender.
Certified.
A sledgehammer.
A certified banger, as the kids call it.
It is a certified banger, yeah. So gearing up for Pack 2 as Zach reviews his picks, has a lot of low to the ground stuff, and he has 3 mana creatures. Three mana creatures that I imagine are still going to be a pretty important part of his game plan, regardless of the direction he takes his deck. Because, as you said, getting on the board and ramping your mana as quickly as you can is an excellent way to secure victory and live whatever dream you're trying to do. Because you know what? They all require mana in this cube.
They do.
Some way around.
A lot of cubes, you know, you might play 17 lands. Maybe you play less than 17 lands if you have power 9 in your draft deck. But in this cube, you really want a lot of lands. Sometimes you play 18, even 19 lands. So here going forward, Zach's going to be looking for a lot more dual lands. So some triomes, maybe some ABU duels, and some ways to play his 4 different colors of cards he has. But, you know, in this cube, you see Underground Sea, but then you see, you know, Extract Brain. And you're like, I don't know which one to take, the awesome sweet card or the card that lets me cast it.
Right, and Zach's only taken 2 lands so far, that Rakdos Carnarium and the Shipwreck Marsh. So I would imagine picking up more lands, especially ones that produce green. Is going to be very, very high on his pick order.
Well, we've got Noble Hierarch, one of the 3 other remaining 1-drop creatures in the cube. Shaman of Forgotten Ways, that also adds mana starting on on curve 3. Windswept Heath is powerful.
Garrick Wildspeaker.
I believe that was Garrick Cursed Hunt, the 4-mana one.
Garrick Relentless?
Garrick Relentless.
The 4-mana one.
Yeah, the 4-mana, that Garrick. There's only
it's
one.
only several.
Yeah, and Zach does take the Noble Heart. So this is another 1-mana creature. He's already going down that road. That's great to see. And this one adds 3 different colors.
Yeah, that's critical. That's gonna be very important.
I mean, it doesn't add red or black because Bant is a world where death and decay have no sway. And he does have those cards in his deck, but it's a work in progress. We'll get there.
You got to get there a little bit. You know what? The assassin. What is it called?
Calidus Assassin.
Calidus Assassin. You could still cast half of that card, half of the pips on that card with a Noble Heart. Oh,
yeah.
Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath is a powerful card.
It is. So is Paradox Zone, which we're seeing here. Zach will be reading that one, as this one has a lot of words on it. What it does is pretty simple. Just makes a bunch of tokens, and they get bigger and bigger and bigger until your opponent just dies.
Yeah, fractionally bigger over time.
Yes, fractionally bigger.
Yes.
It's very magician of you.
Thank you.
So,
and Zach's still reading all of the text on that card.
Yeah, well, a good thing is it's an enchantment. So if he casts Aminato's Augury, he can hit an enchantment. Now we have Tireless Tracker. Probably knows that one. We're keep moving. Demir's Signet, Noble's Purse, a couple of 2-mana ramp spare. Here we have Aminato's Augury behind that, which Zach is waiting in the wings for. He's reading this Light Up the Night.
Alrund's Epiphany.
Alrund's Epiphany. He's reading Light Up the Night, which it's a fireball with flashback.
Yeah, I
so
like
it's
it.
not bad. But
great if you have Planeswalkers.
Ooh, take an extra turn. He likes that. I can already tell. Couple black cards. Giver of Runes, a rare white 1-drop, and Tundra. So looks like he's going with Tireless Tracker. This is a mid-range creature that kind of bridges the early and late game through the mid-game. Lets you draw his card, rewards you for playing 18 lands. This card you do see a lot of cubes, but like a lot of players' dreams are playing this on turn 3 with a mana creature, then playing a land, and you already feel on top of the world.
Well, he's got the mana creatures. He's got the Tireless Tracker. There's only one thing left to get.
Lands?
Lands.
Oh, great.
Now, they give them to you at the end of the draft, but I'd like to get them ahead of time.
That's true. You do get to add any number of basic lands, not waste, basic lands with types to your deck. We have those. We do have them here at CubeCon.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. But there are a lot of non-basic lands in this cube, such as Taiga.
And that's going to be it's going to be difficult for Zach to move away from that Taiga, as that is a critical thing. Now, it's really unfortunate for Zach that Taiga and Bayou are in the same pack, because he would snap pick either one of those for the pick here. I mean, he'll easily take this Taiga.
Yep.
It's just such a shame he's got to pass that Bayou to do it.
He also passed Sakura Tribe Elder, I believe, so other kinds of ramp/mana fixing cards.
Yeah.
I believe he still gets a card out of this pack when it comes back around, so we'll hope that there's a card for him coming back.
So Taiga was a huge pickup. As we know, he's going to be playing green for sure and red for sure.
That's correct.
And those are going to be meaningful portions of his deck, especially early with green. Taiga coming into play untapped on turn 1.
Yep. So Zach is still looking for lands. There was a Flooded Strand here. Maelstrom Wanderer, big Cascade, then Do It Again card. Grist the Hunger Tide, one of my favorite creatures, as long as it's not on the battlefield.
Maybe one of the best cube cards ever made.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Asika, which gives all of your legendary creatures tapped for one of any color.
That's true. There's also a backside of the card. Here we have Faeburrow Elder. That adds a lot of mana to your pool.
And we've shifted this Maelstrom Wanderer, this
to the top.
double Cascade 8-drop to the top. And we know that Zach is in red and green for sure and is happy to splash blue. I'm surprised he's not taking a longer look at this Flooded Strand, only because now there's nothing you can really get with it yet, but I know Zach is going to be looking to pick up some more lands.
Yep. Now, Zach is looking at Grist the Hunger Tide. He does have a lot of 1-mana creatures, and playing Grist on turn 2 is powerful magic.
And no matter the cube you were playing it in.
Yep, it creates threats. It is removal. It has a Dream to Live. He has an insect in the pack right there, right next to it.
It does.
Like all of Grist's friends are here, waiting to be drafted together. It is a shame they are together, Hornet Queen and Grist together in the same pack.
It is. And I love Grist. I mean, Grist would be my selection. I'm looking to draft this card if I think I might be in green and or black, which is basically most of the time.
Yep. That's not a bad... Plus, you can do some fun things with it being a creature in places so that you can see Grist on the screen. If you've played Modern, you probably see this card a lot of places. If you played Cube, you've probably seen this card a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. So, and again, going back to that past Bayou, which I know is just...
It's rough.
Going to be rough for Zach, but need to get that Taiga. Oh, we have one of your favorite cards in the cube. What is this? Doors of Durin.
Yep, that's a way to get that Skitter Beam Battalion in play earlier than predicted. So there's a lot of cool... There's Villainous Wealth in this pack, which is a Sultai X card that can say win the game. and that's always fun. Augur of
Ooh,
Autumn.
Augur of Autumn. I would imagine Augur of Autumn is going to get shuffled to the front here. That is a premium card for Zach second, especially because in this cube, being able to find a creature with power less than Augur of Autumn to be able to activate that Coven ability to play creatures from the top of your deck as well as lands, that can be a big deal, and that's a card advantage engine if you can get it going early.
It is. So right now, Zach's doing a Doors of Durin check to seeing what creatures he has to put into play. He has Scarabee Battalion. Grist. Grist is one you can get in there. Tapped and attacking. Maybe just tapped. So that's really fun to see. So Zach's looking at, does he want to be responsible with like a Mishra's command removal and filtering, or do we want to dream big?
I know what you're rooting for here.
Well, I know what I'm rooting for, but I wanted to see what Zach's rooting for.
All right. I think Zach is going to go with the Doors, which I know is going to make you very happy.
I love Doors.
I'm surprised that Augur has stayed in the back of the pack, to be perfectly honest. We'll see if it gets shuffled to the front here.
Yep, it is.
There we go. All
It
right.
It's in consideration.
Thank you, Zach. Maybe you just heard me, and he's like, I'll do this up here for Parnell.
Yeah, he's got you. So he's looking at Maze Mind Tome right now. It's card advantage. It lets you bridge the gap. A lot of times in this cube, you want to, on turn 2, you kind of don't have a lot on turn 2. A lot of the cards cost, 7 in this cube. So sometimes on turn 2, you have some time to get to that stage of the game and just draw some cards.
This is the Thinker. Mishra's command now being put to the front, and that's something that scales incredibly well. X spell with a single pip, so you can cast it X equals 1 or X equals 9. Who knows?
Ooh, who knows? Yep.
And this is tough. I would. Wow, he's taking the Mishra's command. I'm actually surprised at that. But you know what?
Me too. Well, Mishra's command is removal, and it does help bridge you. Maybe you have a lot of lands in your hand or a lot of spells and not a lot of lands. Mishra's command can get you out.
It's going to be great at any point in the game, and Zach really needs to probably shore up that mid game. He's really taking care of the early game, really taking care of the late game.
Yep.
My absolute favorite Planeswalker in all of Magic, Duretti Spaghetti, a.k.a. the Spaghetti Man, Duretti Iconoclast Genius.
That's correct. So Duretti is another card similar to Grist, actually, in a lot of ways. They both make 1/1 creature tokens. They both are removal spells, and they both cost 3 mana, which is a strong place to be. In every cube, 3 mana is kind of where the real game begins, but in this cube, 3 mana is pretty early on, and you can get advantage there.
The game is afoot. Yeah, I would be slamming that Duretti. Good on you, Zach.
Yep.
Good on you, Zach. And wow, what a combination when you already have Grist. Those two go together.
Yep.
Chef's kiss.
Delving Season also works with all these Planeswalkers. The ones that make tokens, they make multiple tokens. They get bigger, but there's also a other card, Deep Forest Hermit, he's looking at right now, and Toski.
Toski?
Well, you can say it however you like. I'm going to say Toski.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll say Toski.
Toski. So that is my favorite squirrel in the game, other than Chameleon Colossus, obviously.
That's my least favorite squirrel.
Your least favorite squirrel? It looks like that's what he went with, was Toski.
Potentially. We might get a shot. Zach, why don't you...
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
Sort it back down. We'll find out. We'll be sure next time. All right, Sling Gang Lieutenant. We have a Temple Garden. Oh, we have a Gruul Turf.
That's in the front.
That's a good one.
Rin and 7.
Oh, that's a great Planeswalker.
Rin and 7 does everything you want in life.
Zach getting these sticky threats now in Pack 2, which is going to be a great benefit to his deck as really high-impact things to ramp into in the early game.
Yep.
But Zach, eating his vegetables, taking the Gruul Turf to make sure that he has plenty of things that make green and something else.
Yep. Yeah, Gruul Turf is the correct pick here, I think, if you want to eat vegetables, as it were. Even though, if you're Gruul, don't you want meat and eggs?
Yeah, the Borgamos certainly does, but you know what? He's not in the cube, so we won't tell him that the vegetables weren't eaten.
Yeah, I heard he's about to get married pretty soon. He's Borgamos engaged.
All right, let's see what Zach picked with this last one. Deep Forest Hermit. Okay.
This is a threat that can go pretty wide and puts a lot of power on the board for 5 mana.
Yes, not 9, in fact.
9 power. Very close to Skitterbeam Battalion, but it's less dreamy.
It depends on how much you like squirrels.
That's true.
And people like squirrels.
And they love vanishing counters.
They do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they liked them so much they just came back in the Doctor Who Commander decks.
That's true. So here we have Sword of Forge and Frontier, the red-green sword. So Zach, maybe in consideration to just take that card so no one else has it.
And this is Zach's pack, and I think we're looking at this Garruk Relentless. And now Garruk Relentless, more exciting potentially now that you have 2 other Planeswalkers that are making creatures. But Zach is like, I've had a lot of success with these Warhammer cards. Might want to put this Warhammer card, Necron Deathmark, to the front of the pack. I'm personally a big fan of Nahiri's Warcrafting. We've talked about that card a lot. That card that hasn't caught on in cubes as much as I think it does. I would love for Zach to take it personally, just to prove me right. But you know,
So he's looking at between 3 removal spells here: a creature, a sorcery, and a planeswalker. It's kind of what flavor of removal would you like?
right? I mean, realistically, if I'm Zach, I think he goes with the Warcrafting. I like that. I'm actually surprised he didn't take the Garruk Relentless. I love Warcrafting. I think it's an excellent card.
Yeah.
It plays well when you're destroying something small. It plays well when you're destroying something big. And
Draw a card.
You draw a
card.
Yeah, you take a look at several, and it can hit battles.
Battles, it can hit Invasion of Alara.
It sure can.
I can't wait. Hit your own battle. Transform it.
And Auron's Epiphany, surprisingly still in the pack, as is Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. And Zach's like, come on, how am I supposed to pass up this Uro? But Willie?
He's looking at Noble's Purse, which is a 2-mana artifact, which adds mana, so you need a lot of those in this cube. He has a lot of adding, especially for 1 mana. Right now, Zach's looking at Paradox Zone. So this is you don't see this card a lot from Strixhaven Commander. It's an enchantment that costs 5, and basically you make a 2/2. The next turn, you make a 4/4. The next turn, you make an 8. You keep going.
Yeah.
You go up. It's great. And that's what Zach landed with, I believe.
He did. I feel like the card, it should cube every time instead of square, but, do
I like
can.
where we're not at a squared con, are we?
We're sure not. We're
Okay.
at CubeCon. All right. Zach, we have Golem Scheming Guide. Golem, very difficult, some would say impossible card to kill in combat.
Some might say.
Yeah.
Here we've got a couple of Lord of the Rings cards. Grima, Saruman's, and then Malik Grim Manipulator. This is a Mardu legendary creature that's got a little sub-game attached to it.
Right. You each choose a creature to sacrifice, and then we see who has chosen what.
Yep. We'll find out. And also Karuga, and also Ral Zarek, another planeswalker that I'm a rather big fan of.
Right, yes. Karuga certainly not going to make companion in Zach's deck under any circumstance.
I would be surprised if it were, but it still is a 5-mana creature that draws cards.
Yeah, it does.
That's pretty good.
And you're gonna have a handful of 3 or more mana value cards, but we're gonna take the.
He's taking Malik. Malik is a Mardu creature that is a removal spell for your opponent's creatures, but maybe 2 creatures.
Yep. And we have Terra Sunder, just an excellent removal spell. Excellent that scales, for 2 mana. And we have Doors of
Jiren. Oh wow! No, that was a slam.
With authority, he almost took it last time.
Yep.
And decided against it. And the wheel is just, he was so thrilled with that. He's like shoved the pack off. He's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for the entire time.
Yep. So with Doors of Jiren in his deck, which it looks like he will emphatically play, he'll be wanting to look for a lot of large creatures to try to get in there. Also, creatures with haste are really good to trigger that Doors unexpectedly before your opponents can react.
Now, Doors says, it doesn't say cast, right? It says put it into play, tap and attacking?
Yes.
Okay. So I couldn't do anything tricky with this Valky God of Lies, if that was the case. But we have, we're going to take the removal spell in Primal Might, another scaling removal spell. And we have a 15th pick.
Doubling
season, not out of the question that this could ultimately make his deck depending on what happens.
Certainly not. I don't think you've ever lived before you've cast Doubling Season and Paradox Zone together. So you were talking about you wanted them cubed.
Yeah.
We're not that far away. I'm not a mathematician. We need to get Jarvis Ewan here for this, but I believe it's similar to being cubed.
Jarvis is in this draft, so we'll find out. But we're on to pack 3 already. We have a Zaitor's Proving Ground, an Inferno Titan, a
Palantir of Orthanc.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is a Lord of the Rings. It is one of the Lost Seeing Stones, some call them. It's a 3-mana artifact that basically lets you either draw a card every turn or deal, on average, 8 damage to your opponent. It's not bad.
No, because they really got to be able to Staff the Storyteller. There's Ravager. We're one of the few ways to destroy lands in this cube.
And only certain lands.
Cruel Ultimatum, Hidetsugu and Kairi.
Living that dream. That's a dream. Crystalline Crawler.
Ooh, that scales very well.
Another Savai Triumph behind it.
Wow.
That's how you know when you've cubed this much, we can identify a card with,
the
1 inch of art. Empowered Auto-Generator. Some say that is Caleb Durward's favorite card in this cube is Empowered Auto-Generator.
That was a Kolaghan's command at the very back.
It was. This is
a
spicy one.
This is a Zach might just say, I'll take this whole pack. You guys can just finish this draft. But I don't have a agent of acquisitions here, so he's gonna have to pick one.
He's gonna play draft cubes like everybody else, 1 card at a time.
The thing is, I think Zach, when he opened on that Zaitor's Proving Ground, he had made his pick, and then he immediately saw the Inferno Titan afterwards. Inferno Titan, it's just such a powerful Titan, and such a powerful Titan to get in Zach's deck.
Yes, we have in this cube, there are 4 Titans in here. Can you name the Titan that's not
Frost
in here?
Titan.
You've got there.
Yeah.
Not very
I
dreamy.
love Frost Titan, but it doesn't fit here.
It is the Titan killer among the Titans. And Zach is deciding between basically a 6-mana threat or a land that taps for 3 different colors.
Well,
Really-
he's putting a staff with a storyteller at the top. I don't think that's going to be the pick. Zach is really white's the only color he's not been interested in and doesn't have any way to cast the spells so far.
So far, I mean, he's looking like a Glint Eye Nephilim deck. Very easy kind of communication to communicate. Everyone knows what you mean when you say Glint Eye Nephilim.
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, he hasn't drafted too much blue, so he could be looking more Dune Brood.
Dune Brood?
He could be.
Okay. Saskia was in this cube, so he's eyeing Palantir because this is a new card. Not sure if Zach's played with it before. A lot of people haven't. It is only a few months old, and there's a lot of play to this card. Like you put an influence counter on it, then you scry 2, and then you reveal. Then you mill cards equal to the influence counters on it, and the opponent loses life equal to the mana value of those cards. So there's a lot going on here, and it's kind of it's people used to call them Punisher mechanics that we've got on the screen for you. Your opponent gets the decision. Your opponent can choose A or B, and they'll always choose the one that's best for them, which means at the time, which is worse for you. Right. So you have to decide: do you want to play this big threat, this land, or this new Palantir of Orthanc card?
Yeah, Inferno Titan.
Inferno Titan is not only a removal spell, but it works with his Doors of Durin, which is great.
Yeah. Ooh, Hurl Through Hell. That's a great follow-up, excellent removal spell where you can exile the creature, and then if you're feeling fancy, you can play it. Next turn.
I often feel fancy.
Yeah.
Here we have Unleash the Inferno. It is a Jund card that is a removal spell for a creature and a Naturalize.
And we're getting punished by the glare here. But
I saw Unleash the Multiverse there in the back, one of the strongest cards in the cube, I believe. It costs 7. That ain't nothing, though.
Yeah.
When you get 7, each player mills 10, you get 2 creatures.
Ain't no thing.
Ain't no thing.
That is definitely a good one. Mana Confluence, if Zach is really concerned about making sure he can cast all these colors, he's going to take the rat making
the Redcap Gutter Dweller.
Redcap Gutter Dweller, thank you. Yep. I knew several of the words, but not the order and not everything. But it does is a 3/3 menace, and it will put 2 rats onto the battlefield during your upkeep. You can sack it to play a card this turn. Oh, and we have a Deathcap Glade, which is can play untap if you have 2 other lands at least. We passed a Triome, which we know it was not Zaitor's Proving Ground.
Yes, it was a Xander's
Lounge.
Lounge. I was thinking Palace. He's got a lounge.
He's relaxed. He's relaxed.
He's big chill.
He's too chill.
Big fan of art. Chill MTG also in the house.
Yeah. Oh, we have a Prismatic Vista, which I mean, if Zach's looking for fixing, this has got to be the one. Especially little bonus because he's got that tireless tracker to take advantage of landfall.
Yep. So Zach's looking for big threats to get in there with Doors of Durin and mana fixing. But here we have an Escape the Wilds.
Love it.
Yep. We've got lots of things you can play. Meteor Golem there is a really good hit if you want to be Doors of During things. Listen, it's hard.
We're doing our best. Kadama's Reach is at the back of the pack. Is some fixing.
It is fixing.
But I think Zach is more interested in fixing and mana ramp that can attack to maybe activate some of those attacking related cards, or they're planeswalkers that can sacrifice creatures to destroy other creatures.
Yeah. So he's looking at Atsushi, the Blazing Sky. So Zach is really looking for large creatures that are also removal spells and card draw, so we can cheat them into play with Doors of Durin, but also let them do other things you might need in the game other than lands and creatures, like removal and card draw and the ramp.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the best rated cards from a creature perspective in the entire cube is a 4/4 flying trample for 4.
A 4/4/4/4.
A 4/4/4/4. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is Zach going to be tempted by the excellently rated beater, or is he going to go with something a little more versatile, like you find some prisoners, can destroy an artifact or play cards off of your opponent's deck?
That's true. You find some prisoners. Do you break through chains perhaps? But those prisoners will be locked up for a while, and he's taking Atsushi the Blazing Sky as a creature that's also mana ramp or card draw.
Right. And then we have Grief, which people
Grief.
are always excited to see in every single format, no matter what.
Yes. Well, this pack has about 8 black cards in it. So we're seeing
Sure
if
does.
he wants to go that direction or take something like Pernicious Deed, which is great with Planeswalkers.
It sure is. And Zach's an OG, so I know he loves that Pernicious Deed. But we have another big Planeswalker in a 7-mana Garruk.
Yeah, this is the Garruk Apex Predator. This is the Planeswalker that destroys other Planeswalkers. Right. So if Zach wants to be the king of the Planeswalker nest, he might take that. So Freyalize, when she activated the Soul Bomb to destroy New Phyrexia, wasn't aware of other Planeswalkers at the time, so it can't kill Planeswalkers, which is also great with all the Planeswalkers in Zach's deck, like Grist or Doretti Spaghetti, as you so endearingly called him.
The Spaghetti Man. That's right.
The Spaghetti Man.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of more the cheese. Like, cheese is great on spaghetti, right? So, like, we want some.
Today.
Yeah, so we want some Parmesan to go with that cheese.
And Zach is looking to make people feel bad with grief.
Well, it is a card you can cast on turn 1.
It sure is. It sure is, at least once.
Yep.
We have a Sword of Fire and Ice, one of the original Cube staples for many years, along with Duplicate, another old school Cube staple, but something that is colorless and has a high impact on the board, especially in this Cube, as it is more likely to get something expensive rather than something that is cheap to maybe help you stabilize here.
Yep, so it will probably not be a 2/4 in this Cube very long. It'll probably be a little bigger. This is, I have to say it like this, a braid. It's in all caps.
It's in all caps.
That's how it is.
Legally required.
And Zach, it looks like he's taking that. So he's looking to see, does he want the removal spell that costs 6 or the removal spell that costs 2?
And it's an instant.
Yeah.
And I think Zach's going to value that pretty highly. A braid has been the selection.
A braid, yes, that's correct. That one on the screen, the rules are correct, the words in the text box, but the name is a little lowercase, not into that. So we're looking at other removal spells such as Lethal Shadow.
Lethal Scheming.
Lethal Scheming, Price of Fame, another 4-mana black removal spell.
Yeah, a lot of legendary creatures in this cube, and we see another one here, which is a card he's probably not going to take, but I've lost this card many times. So
that's true. Terror of the Peaks, a dragon. Collective Defiance, a removal spell. Just like, he's getting picks even this late. You love to see it.
You do. I mean, that is maybe the dream in itself.
Yep.
Get a couple of 15th picks are going to make my deck. Yeah. That's a dream.
Terror of the Peaks is a 5-mana creature that can be removal. So a lot of times in this cube, yeah. So he goes to Terror of the Peaks. Do you want a card with a high floor and a lower and a not as high ceiling such as Collective Defiance, or do you want a card with a decently high floor called Terror, but a hugely high ceiling if you untap with it?
Yeah, I want to get a card that's best friends with Skitterbeam.
Oh,
and Terror of the Peaks, they've gotten very close.
Yeah, or Doors of Jurn, again.
Yeah.
So Zach's adding another dragon to his Draconic arsenal. I think he's got one other dragon, maybe 2.
I believe you.
I would believe me too. So he's taking a review. Terror of the Peaks is really good with Fire Emancipation if he chooses to employ that. You don't have to do any math. Opponent, you just...
One other dragon. Just at Sushi, but he's starting, and he's got a taste for it now.
He's got a taste for dragons. Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. This is a green creature that not only adds mana, but draws cards.
Could be the Heart of Zach's deck.
And in this cube, adding mana and drawing cards are 2 of the best things to be doing.
And that's able to do both and scale incredibly well as you continue on the game. And that's an Orin Frostfang.
And a Vorinclex Monstrous Raider.
I love a Vorinclex.
Vorinclex is great because you can cheat it with Doors of Jurn, or when you play Planeswalker with it in play, it doubles the counters that it arrives with.
Absolutely.
So you can immediately ultimate your Grist or your Doretti, I believe.
Right off the bat. Absolutely. Yeah. You can. And not only that, it's a 6-mana 6/6 with trample and haste.
Yes, and it says your opponent's sagas do not advance.
They do. They do not. But I like it because it's very good at killing your opponent, which ultimately that's the final dream no matter what cube you're playing.
Vorinclex is also a good counter to Awaken the Maelstrom. A lot more battle counters there, baby.
Oh, Lord. I guess that's true. Selvala is something that Zach is really excited by. And we have a Sublime Epiphany. And Zach has really moved pretty solidly into Jund. Yeah, so we are going to take the Selvala. I think when we saw that, we felt like that was the correct pick. You know what? You got to be tempted every once in a while.
I believe I have cast Sublime Epiphany against Zach before. And so he's feeling those memories looking at that Sublime Epiphany. It was not great for him, I'll be honest.
It is not often good when someone gets Sublime Epiphany, when they're on the receiving end of that card.
Yeah. You choose the dream for that card is choosing all modes, all 5 modes.
Yeah, you got to get the full Epiphany is what we call that.
That's what we call that in the biz? You heard it here first. Here at CubeCon.
So Zach is settling in to truly just a Jund deck. I don't believe we're going to be seeing any of the white or blue cards. We don't have much of the fixing. Maybe the assassin that cost blue and black. I think that we got a shot at that one, depending on if we see another blue touching land, because we have that Shipwreck Marsh from earlier.
Shipwreck Marsh. We have
Noble Hierarch. We
and
have
Prismatic Vista
and Biophagus. So there's a couple. But I think Zach is going to be squarely into Jund as the primary makeup as a deck. And yeah, we do see the assassin looking like, as Zach is sorting through his deck, not in the starting main deck end currently, but there's still some draft
to
be done.
Yes.
We haven't seen. I believe we're on pick 6 or 7 of the third pack.
Yep.
So,
Zach also picked up a Terra Sunder in that pack.
Yes.
Terra Sunder is probably the best naturalized ever printed, in my humble opinion. It's either that or it's a 4-mana. Just exile anything you want.
Yeah.
Anything.
A naturalized that can turn into an utter end. Quite
Utter
powerful.
end.
Okay, so this all right. So this is pick 9, and the Proving Ground is back. Oh my God! And Zach, really, I mean, he spent he cannot believe Kolaghan's Command. Kolaghan's Command is, in my opinion, one of the best cards in most cubes.
Yeah, it's very strong. You just attach 2 cards together, erase that into shock. You just put those together with some diversity and stuff like that, and you've got an amazing card. Here we have Unleash the Inferno, which are squarely in his color. So Unleash the Inferno is 4 mana. It deals 7 damage to a creature. And then you also get to destroy an artifact or enchantment with the mana value is equal to or less than the excess damage. So oftentimes,
if I deal 4 to something,
yes.
I got 3 left over. I can destroy a mana rock for 3 potentially.
Potentially. So that's not bad. He's all looking at Hurl Through Hell. Again, a removal spell, but instead of destroying another thing, you get to cast that creature.
So good. I love a Hurl Through Hell. Yeah, that's what I would. That's what I'd be picking if I'm Zach. Just an excellent mid-range removal. Now he's going to the Vivian, perhaps the Mythos of Nethroi. Hurl Through Hell is where I would be at, and Zach agrees.
Yep. Hurl Through Hell is a great card to. It's not just removal, but also card draw, and you draw the card that you killed.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's Rakdos' answer to Fracture Identity.
Some say Fracture Identity is the Azorius Hurl Through Hell.
Some do. Me now, from now on.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's an instant.
It is quite powerful.
So,
and instants, always good. Exceptionally good here because you really can get people when they're going through their motions on their turn. A lot of sorceries and sorcery speed things in this.
That's true. And you know the old saying, EOT, HTHYL. That's just what they say. So here's Zach's looking at Necromantic Selection, which is a damnation, but you get a creature that you killed. Finale of Eternity, a removal spell that you get a creature that you killed, perhaps.
Bramble Sovereign. Ooh, Vraska Golgari Queen. That's a great pickup.
Yeah, right now Zach's looking at Bramble Sovereign. So this is a 4/4/4/4 that lets you, when you play creatures, pay 2 mana and get a copy of it. So it's great with non-legendary creatures to get another copy of them, even sometimes with legendary. I'm so excited to pick one of these green or black cards to add to his Jund deck.
Which
it's really his Jund lane is wide open.
He's lined it up.
Yeah, he could play any one of these cards and be happy with any of them.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that whatever pick he has here is either going to make his main deck or see heavy rotation out of his sideboard. Yeah, I would be picking the Vraska, because I think that's one of the best things to move into if you are playing mana creatures to play on turn 3.
Yes. Well, she is the prom queen here in this secret lair art. So, you're going to mess with the queen?
I wouldn't. Well, unless I'm picking her.
Sure. You best be prepared for the snakes.
Yep. Zach's going to go with the Bramble Sovereign.
The Brambler has arrived.
Hesitates, but ultimately satisfied with his... man, he's still thinking about it.
Nah, you pick the Brambler. Get on Brambling.
He's brambled on. Oh God! See, man, I love an Escape to the Wilds. That's so powerful. Gives you some ramp. You can play an extra land, and you can exile 5 cards and play them not just this turn, but also your next turn.
Yep, and that is what Zach goes with. So this is just a strong. Most of the rule cards, the red-green cards in this cube, care about creatures. I made an exception for Escape to the Wilds because it's just so dreamy.
It is.
Here we have, yet again, 3 cards in Jund colors. Yeah. His lane is wide open.
Toxtrol, Falkenrath Aristocrat, and Murderous Rider. And Zach is really still in the throes of deciding what he wants with 3 cards left in the pack, which means you have really positioned yourself well throughout the draft to be getting this stuff this late. Yep,
Zach read the signals. He toyed with blue a little bit, but you know what? I'm staying with Jund. Reed Duke on the other side of the table, learning from the best. And Toxtrol in consideration, great with Doors of Durin. Also, some say Toxtrol is the Black Elish Norm. But it looks like he went...
But you know what Zach says? Zach says, I want to fight someone with this Falkenrath Aristocrat.
Yep. Here we have Braids, Arisen Nightmare, or Junji, the Midnight Sky.
There we go.
Yes. Junji, one of the rare forms of discard in the cube. Not a lot of dress, and he got Price of Fame last pick. He raises his eyebrows because this is most of the time, a 2-mana destroy creature surveil 2, and that's pretty good.
Zach, and we see he looks pretty happy.
Yeah.
He's looking and he's like, yeah, I think I did pretty good. And we have, I mean, this is quite the pod. There's no free wins here.
No, it's a rough hill going up.
He's gonna and Zach is gonna have to work for that. If he wants to get the cheese, if he wants to be the cheese that stands alone,
he's got to work really hard for this.
At the end of this, and it looks like we're seeing the last couple of picks go around the table. And again, we have the other drafters in this cube. So Zach is going to be up against Reed Duke,
the Jund Master himself.
So Zach is really going to be put to the test in the first round. But beyond that, we have Bob Marr, Jamie Topple, Sky Warfield, Drake Sasser, Jarvis Yu, Strategist, all vying to be the cheese that's standing alone and get this mound of cheese, which undoubtedly they'll share with everyone. There's too much of it.
There's too much just cheese at stake here. So Zach's going to be looking to butter up. There's butter and cheese, butter up his opponents, milk his deck for all it's worth.
There we go.
Thank you. Milk his deck for all its work and really try to get some of these synergies online. So he's got Doors of Durin to work with all these creatures. He's got mana creatures on turn 1 and 3 mana planeswalkers to play perhaps on turn 2. He's got a lot of stuff that he needs to do and try to find the holes in his opponent's Swiss cheese game plan.
There we go. And much like cheese, there's no limit on the amount of cheese puns that you should be making.
There is not, Justin.
Thanks. So, and it looks like our players are going to be moving into deck building. We see a portion of them here, and we are going to be seeing Zach in our first round.
Yep, so he'll be working on his deck building skills as he plays against Reed Duke. So we'll be coming back here to the booth with Justin and myself here at CubeCon at GameholeCon here in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin.
That's right. David, how do you feel like Zach's deck is representing your cube, living the dream? Do you think he's going to be living the dream? What do you think his dream is?
I think his dream is to cast a lot of spells without paying the mana cost, put them into play without paying the mana cost, or generate a lot of mana. So he's got a bunch of 1-mana creatures along with the Biophagus on turn 2. He also has Escape the Wilds on turn, for 5 mana. Could be as fast as turn 3. If he plays Escape the Wilds on turn 3, it'll be hard-pressed for his opponent to come back from that.
Yeah, that is a significant amount of value and additional mana ramping to be able to pay that off. Would you say that Zach's deck is average, lower, or higher of a mana value average of a deck?
Well, it depends if he's playing his Skitter Beam Battalion, because cards like that. So that's really going to change the values. He's playing a green X deck, so he did get the pleasure of having 3 1-mana creatures, I believe, to let him cast these spells really on time. So every color in this cube kind of has a cool thing they do. White gets to do some white things. Green gets 1-mana creatures that lets you go, starting off on turn 1, you're on the board. Right. Red lets you cast a lot of spells for free. Blue lets you cast blue cards. Black lets you have removal spells. And white is a color that people can play with in the cube.
Wow. Well, it's clear the colors you love and the colors that you feel forced you have to play with. It's tough out there being white cards 2023.
I mean,
or every year prior.
Previously, when I played this cube with Dan Schneider of the Devoid Cube, we were in a Selesnya mirror match in the finals, green-white versus green-white. It can happen.
It can happen.
Yeah, cube is great. Maybe
that was the dream itself of just seeing a Selesnya mirror match in the finals of the cube.
Yeah, you never. I mean,
I'm surprised you didn't retire the cube after that.
Have you ever played against a Farmer Cotton before?
No, I have not.
Well, clearly that's why you haven't felt the full power of Selesnya in the Live the Dream cube.
It's all concentrated in Farmer Cotton. Well, so Zach is, again, going to be the person that we're going to be covering, but we're going to let our drafters build their decks, and we're going to take a couple minutes. But before we do that, we want to shout out one of our sponsors, and that's Magic Online.
Yes.
Magic Online, one of our great sponsors for the weekend.
Yep. So Magic Online, or MTGO, as you might know it, is your digital home for Commander, Cube, Modern, Pioneer, Legacy, Vintage, everything under the sun. You can sign up right now for a free account. It's totally free to sign up and get a taste of there's some really good new player experiences, some new player gauntlets that you can jump right into the fray and get to playing. There's also Super Jump League. Super Jump is similar to Jump In or Jump Start. You pick two halves of a deck and play that. But you know what kind of format Super Jump is modeled after?
It sounds like one that we have a lot going on here this weekend
Yes.
at CubeCon.
It's Cube. So
Love it.
basically you pick two themes of a Cube deck. So maybe you pick Kiki Jiki stuff, and then maybe you pick like zombies or like Reanimator. You pick those and you put them together. You're off to the races and you're cubing on Magic Online with Super Jump right there. Also, Commander is you can play Commander on Magic Online. 4 players. They have almost every single Magic card in the game on Magic Online. You gather your decks, so you can bling them out with all kinds of the secret layers and the different versions, different stuff. You can get those together, so you can play Commander.
What if you want to be a little more competitive?
You want to aim for the Pro Tour?
Maybe I might.
Maybe you might. Well, you can also qualify for the regional championship in any of 7 different formats on Magic Online and compete with the best in the championship showcase.
Where would I go if I need to find out more about this information?
Well, you could just simply go to mtgo.com.
And it's so simple.
It's so simple. You can download it right there, run it on any Windows machine, and get to the magic. So right now we just had They had Vintage Cube up there for 2-week span. Vintage Cube, the most played cube ever.
That's right.
Magic Online has tons of cubes up there at all times. Modern, if you've been thinking about them beans.
Think about them beans.
Them beans. We got Modern. We
Wow.
got Beanstalks on Magic Online, MTGO. And you can play Commander with your mates. You get 3 friends. You can play Commander from anywhere in the world together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we want to, again, thank Magic Online, MTGO, for being one of our great sponsors. We're going to take a quick break while our players finish deck building, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Nowhere. Stay here.
Don't go anywhere.
I love Cube.
That's great. I wish I was Cuban. You think we can fit one in?
I think we can. In the break.
You do a 2-man cube.
2-player Cube.
2-player cube right here in the booth.
Houseman draft.
I'm down if you're down. They didn't use all the cards.
Oh, there's like still 200 left.
That is enough.
We got to get in there.
We would only need about 180 of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
90 plus 81.
About 180.
That's 171.
Just grab the whole stack and we'll
Who's
just go
counting?
from there.
Yeah.
Great. We don't know if we're still live yet, but this would be a normal conversation we would have.
Well, we just love Cube so much. And I will act like it's still live until told differently.
Right.
And it's so wonderful to be with all these Cube players here in Madison, Wisconsin, Gamehole Con, at CubeCon, with all our organizers.
Great. So we're going to check with our producer. Thank you all for watching CubeCon
2023.
A lot of great Cube Tint coming up over the course of the weekend.
Do you think that was too cheesy?
Not enough.
Oh, we need more cheese.
You could go cheesier.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a cube that's not yours, that's not the Live the Dream
Yes.
cube, what cube would you like to draft that's here at CubeCon?
The old bordered foil cube.
Mm.
So I love foils. If you've seen the Live the Dream cube, a lot of them are foils.
I have very recently.
Some of them had borders which were old, but not all of them.
Yeah.
And there's a cube here where every card has that border and is foil. It's beautiful. You haven't lived until you've seen a 7th edition Birds of Paradise foil.
It's true.
That should just be in the Louvre. Next to Mona Lisa, 7th edition Birds of Paradise. I just want to look at
Chef's
it.
kiss.
I've been looking at this for 5 minutes, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I have some really good news for you.
What?
We're going to be covering the Live the Dream cube later this weekend on coverage here at CubeCon. So not only will David have a chance to see this beautiful cube in action, but all of our viewers at home will be able to
watch the
as
old border foil
well.
cube here on coverage, and it is so beautiful. Like I think it was one of the most requested cubes to draft here at CubeCon last year because it's an experience. You're holding history in your hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had
Truly.
a hand with the Birds of Paradise, Fact or Fiction, Psychotog, and I was like, I can do anything I want. The world is my oyster.
It's tough. You can only draft one of those at a time.
Well, I was playing. Sometimes you play the games that you draft.
Oh, that's
I know.
crazy.
Some people. So on the prefer drafting a cube versus prefer playing a cube, where do you land on that spectrum?
I like playing.
Yeah.
I love playing Magic. And the thing is, I love drafting too. and you really, it's a combination for me. A lot of people just love to draft. They want to just draft, then let's look at our decks, then we'll just draft again.
Yep.
I love both.
Well, I
love
see
to play the game.
I see people playing Cube right here. They're rolling dice to determine who goes first, and they're about to shovel up their decks and play some Cube. And wow, I love hearing the flicking of cards. Like, we had a couple years where there weren't a lot of Magic events in person, but we're back now. We're back here at CubeCon, and there's just so much Cube being had. I feel like I'm home.
Incredible. Yeah, I'm a little jealous, but we're gonna see if we can take a quick break and maybe we can get a quick 2-person cube here in the booth. But we will be back in just a few minutes with our first round of the Cheese Stands Alone event. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. CubeCon 2023.
Cheese. I love cheese. Almost too much. Oh, okay.
Are we?
Well, oh, yeah. The cheese stands alone. The cheese cannot be stopped. So, players are building their decks here to Live the Dream Cube. If you couldn't make it to CubeCon this year, don't fret. We'll have coverage all week long, and maybe, just maybe, you can come next year. Here in Madison, Wisconsin, GameholeCon, CubeCon. Cube is one of the best ways to play Magic because you can play any way you want. Do you want to play with the Power 9? Do you want to play with cards only from Khans of Tarkir? Do you want to play with cards only with Old Border Foil? Do you want to play cards that aren't sleeved and you just bridge shuffle right up there? You got that. All those cubes are here. You can play with all of them. You want to play a cube that there are no colored cards. They're devoid of colors. We've got that. Do you want to play the cubes that feature deserts from Amonkhet and you draft the deserts as you play them? We got that. Do you want to play with cubes that are only commons or uncommons? Do you want to play with a cube that is data-driven and statistically the most played cards in Cube together in one big vintage cube? We have that. Like, there's so many ways to play Magic. It's a wonderful place to be, and thank you so much for joining us here on NRG Gaming at CubeCon 2023.
Guess what?
What, Justin?
All gas.
All the time?
No brakes.
No brakes. Only gas.
So we're going to talk about Cube tomorrow. As you've seen,
do we have to?
We don't, but you know what? I want to.
Well, you're the boss, sir.
Thank goodness. So, cubes. What were you talking about? You were talking about cubes.
As it were, I was trying to list off of memory all the different kind of cubes we have featured here at CubeCon 2023.
Oh, so many.
There's 50.
50.
Almost 51. So there's 50 featured cubes, but right now in the hall here at GameholeCon, at CubeCon, there's more than just the 50 cubes being played.
Unbelievable.
So I have a question for you.
The cube that just got called, because we're doing on-demand drafts right now. The unplayable cube.
The unplayable cube is being played.
Yes.
Okay.
Unbelievable. You never thought it would happen. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that cube is made up of cards that are generally unloved by the cube designing populace.
Yeah, so Magic players love to use parlance that may be stretching the truth. So maybe a card such as Chimney Imp, maybe as referred as unplayable, like hyperbolically speaking.
Right.
So, but what if there was an environment where Chimney Imp could be played?
I would be impressed.
Well,
because there had to be 359 other cards. But you know what? It sounds like
we have that.
It sounds like we have that here at CubeCon.
Yep.
We also have some flavor cubes. We have the boat cube.
The boat cube?
The boat cube. Okay. The hook for the boat cube is every card, including basic lands, have a boat or ship of some kind in the art.
A dinghy.
So, some.
I love dinghies. A boat. So do cards that in a deck called, colloquially named the Boat Brew, do those cards make the cut? Revelark,
Siege Game Commander, I don't think that they do.
That's okay.
That's a deep cut, and I appreciate that, which I like.
Yeah, so Cube is amazing because it can be anything you want it to be. I want to ask you a question. What does Cube mean to you, Justin Parnell?
You know, I've been asked this question a lot.
That's a bad question for me to ask then. But
no, it's not, because I've never had a very good answer. So I'm going to fumble through this, as I do every time. Cube, to me, is a way, as a Cube designer, to express your favorite thing about Magic and showing the world, and maybe at least 7 other people, how you want to engage with Magic in your favorite way. And it's so expressive, and that's really the thing I love about Cube. Not just if you're a Cube designer, but if you're a player, playing someone else's Cube, seeing what they want to represent as Magic.
Yeah.
And that's just so special. There's truly no other ways to play Magic that you can do that, because I love Constructed and I love Traditional Limited. But Cube is so special because you truly are saying, I want to invite you, I want to invite this other group of people into my home in a Cube sense, in a Magic sense. This is what Magic is to me. These are my favorite things about Magic in this game, and I've been playing Magic for 25 years. So it's Cube is, I don't know, it really just,
it's a way to
it's just this.
It's just this. It's a way.
I don't know.
It's a way to share what makes us human, what we enjoy out of life. Why do we like being alive? A lot of times it's entertainment. It's to play a game, and it's our responsibility as Cube designers to share these feelings with other people and make them feel what we're feeling. The joy you get when you open up a pack and you see Yawgmoth's Will, and you're like, wow, look at this art. Look at this Ron Spencer art. Look at what it can do. Or you open a pack for the first time and you get a 2/1 snake that like adds mana or something when you play lands. I want this big Sphinx, this Goliath Sphinx this other person's got.
Crazy.
These feelings that just like follow with this and are etched upon our hearts, and we can share them with other people. That's what Cube's all about.
One of my favorite things in Cube is when someone is drafting a Cube for the first time, and then they see another deck and they go, ooh, I want to do that next time. I want to do that. Yeah, I want to do that next time. I see this other person over here doing crazy stuff. It doesn't matter what kind of cube it is.
Yeah.
It could be the unplayable cube. It could be the Live the Dream cube. It could be the old border foil cube. It could be the boat cube. But you see something, and it's something that you're experiencing, but you see everyone else being able to experience it. You're like, in this environment, in this specific group of cards, that's something I can do, and that seems awesome.
Yeah. It's really making games is about having people feel things and have them experience some joy in this existence. So making a cube lets that person share these things with the people they choose to share it with. And here at CubeCon, you're sharing it with 400 other like-minded cube folk.
It's so special because everyone here, I mean, truly, there's not a single person here that's like, yeah, I'll come to CubeCon. Everyone is like, I love Cube. I want to support this format.
Yeah.
And this is the most fun I can have playing Magic. And everyone has agreed. Every single person here is like, yes, this is my favorite thing.
Yes. So
we've talked to so many people, and everyone has just thanked us, the organizers and the team that is responsible, you included, about putting this event together. And it is just very special because we have a format that has existed for a while, but is tough to put together in a way where you're able to experience it on a large scale with so many other people.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great time now to share who exactly the CubeCon Planning Council is for this year. So I'll start off right now. We have Justin Parnell in the booth, the production lead. Thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you. Joined by me is Michael Hepp, who is the production co-lead. He's behind the curtain over here. You can't see him. He might show up at some point. We have Jonathan Brostoff, who is, as he likes to say, the reason for the season. This is the conception of CubeCon was his idea.
Yep.
We have Zach Halpert, who
is right there.
Yep, does a lot of the administrative work.
Hi, Zach.
He does a great job, and we're really blessed to have this a group of 8 organizers. We have Libby, Landon Liberator.
Landon, the Liberator?
Yes, who is our event lead, takes care of all of the judging related stuff.
Libby's great.
We have John Terrell, Cultic Cube.
Cultic Cube.
John is the Swiss Army knife and truly does he does so many unique things, and is also the beacon of positivity, which trust me, we need.
We need.
Then we have Gwen Decker, the owner and operator of Cube Cobra, which many of us use to run our cubes. And then last but not least, we have Brian Kowal, who is graciously helping us physically organize this event, partnered with his store, Misty Mountain Games, to have everything that we need at CubeCon stored there, handles a lot of financial stuff for us because it is obviously expensive running a Magic event, and we would not be here without BK.
Yeah, BK.
We could probably chop a couple of other people out of the equation and still make it work. Not as good.
Do we need a production lead? Do we really need one? But BK of Misty Mountain Games, we were there last night cubing.
We were cubing last night.
As it were. It's a great store, and everyone there, it was packed. It was 80, 100 people or something.
There was a lot of
every table was full. Everyone's cubing.
It was day 0 for CubeCon, and it had already started.
Yeah,
it's just an incredible experience. I mean, truly, this is our second of hopefully many CubeCon events that we've ran.
Plastic.
Yeah, knock on wood here, but and just the experience and the joy that everyone has. And the thing that I've loved, and this is something I've noticed throughout the day, is I've been here since early in the morning, getting everything set up. People get here, they have their bags from the airport.
Yes.
They get here, and then in 5 minutes, they find a draft, and they hopped in a draft with someone.
They're off to picking. They're off to the races.
That's just incredible.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of Magic events, a lot of Magic cons and Pro Tours and stuff, and cubes happen there.
Right.
I bring my cubes to everyone I go to.
Of course.
And I get people together. A lot of people are there for a lot of different awesome reasons. Playing the Pro Tour, judge, go to the vendor hall, all kinds of reasons. Cosplay, all kinds of things. You come here, people are here for one reason.
Cube baby.
Cube baby.
That's right.
Or to get some cheese.
Yeah, and our competitors are going to be doing both.
Both.
They're going to be doing, they're cubing
for cheese.
For cheese.
If that's not living the dream, I don't know what is.
And you know what? We're going to work on getting a shot of the cheese because we've talked about this mound of cheese, and some of you are probably thinking, oh, they're talking it up too much. Like whatever.
What, like a craft single?
Yeah.
Like some string cheese?
What, you got some string cheese? Yeah. No. Wisconsin, the cheese capital of the world, and that's something. I've heard some people from Wisconsin, because there's a couple people in our organizer committee that are from here. They're in Wisconsin, and they talk
some cheese talk, but we're going to see for ourselves.
Yeah, but you know what? But what do we have to do right now is we have to get this cheese ready.
Yeah, I'm going to go eat some of the cheese.
Right, so we're going to take a quick break. David's going to eat some of the cheese.
That's why I'm here.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to see exactly what people are playing for and get into the action at CubeCon 2023.
See you there.